EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Merchant here with your outlook for December 8th, 2023. It is Friday, end of the work week, and the Friday video forecast is proudly sponsored by McCall Collective Brewing. McCall is a family-owned and operated brewery with 2 locations in the Lehigh Valley. Their original Southside Allentown location is at 102 East Susquehanna Street, and their second location, McCall Collective Tap House in Trexlertown, is at 7743 Hamilton Boulevard. Both locations are open 7 days a week and have a full food menu. Plenty of beer to choose from for both dine-in or takeout, along with local wine and cocktails. Check out their new beer releases this week and the new food menu exclusive to Tap House and their lineup of merch at the Susquehanna location just in time for Christmas. For details about that and all of their upcoming events, please visit their Facebook page, or to place online orders, visit their website, mccallcollectivebrewing.com. Proud sponsors of the Friday video forecast. So today we have no issues. We're going to have a little bit of clouds this morning that are going to give way to sun this afternoon, become mostly sunny this afternoon, and then a mostly clear evening, and then clouds are going to increase again overnight tonight. It is going to be milder tonight. Today, 46 to 53 is this temperature spread from northwest to southeast. So that means that we're going to be on either side of 50 degrees today, and pretty much the same thing tomorrow. Maybe add a couple degrees to the high temperature. Whatever you get today, add about 2 degrees to that high for Saturday. But we are going to be mostly cloudy Saturday, and again, those clouds are going to increase later tonight ahead of that. This is all ahead of this system here. It's not going to affect your Saturday at all. So if you have anything to do this weekend outdoors, make sure it's done on Saturday, not Sunday, because Sunday is going to be a wash, and you might get lucky when you can dodge a few showers earlier on in the day until the heavier stuff comes later. But Sunday's not really looking like that good of a day. I'm going to start this off not as a precipitation type map. I'm going to just show this as a regular precipitation image here as we go through the day. Now, this is Sunday morning, and you see a few showers popping ahead of the main batch here. As we go through the course of the morning, that will increase in coverage as we go into the afternoon in terms of just showers. But then we get a heavier band of rain coming in overnight. This is going to be evening and overnight. We have the worst conditions, it looks like, for this system coming in, and it's going to be primarily rain. However, there is a component to this that could be wintry for the areas I mentioned in yesterday's video that has not changed. The areas have not changed that could be affected by that, and it is generally north-central Pennsylvania and parts of northeast PA, most notably the higher elevations. I don't think this is going to be something that is going to extend a little any further southeast than that. But, from what we were looking at a couple days ago with a big ramped-up area low pressure bombing into the eastern Great Lakes, that is not happening. This is a flatter and more progressive wave, which allows the transition on the back end. And go back over to precipitation type here just to show you what I'm talking about. So here is the heavier rain in the evening on Sunday. As we move this forward, you'll see some snow creeping up here, and it's in the favored areas of elevation, which would be across north central and northeast PA. I can't rule out that you get some flakes at the end here across parts of the interior, but this largely is not going to affect you in those areas, even though the NAM came in and is a little bit more aggressive further south, and I'll show you that in here in a second. But this moves away, and as the cold air catches up to it behind it as the Arctic front moves through, that's when you have that changeover to snow on the back end. But it's going to catch up to it, and it's a timing game. How much precipitation is still left when the cold air is sufficient enough to change this over to snow? And is it one of those deals where the upper levels are cold and it's like 36, 37 degrees, but it's snowing and it's not really sticking because it's still too warm at the surface? You have to consider that as well, and we certainly will when we put out our forecast here for this event. Here is the NAM. That's not the high-res version. This is the 12-kilometer version because it goes out to 84 hours. The 3-kilometer only goes to 60 hours, so I can't show you that yet. This is starting at hour 63, so this is not in range for the entire event. We have to use the longer range NAM, which is a lower resolution. And you can see some shower activity in the morning, moving into the parts of the afternoon, but it's still kind of scattered here at this point. It's not really organized until we get to the evening hours, and you have the more organized area of rain moving eastward. And I want you to pay attention to this here, this feature right here. Now, I move this forward. Do you see this right here? This is on the lead of, or ahead of the Arctic front. This is a squall line that is going to try to form along that according to the mesoscale models, and this is where the mesoscale short-range stuff will come into play, and it will help out a little bit. It just has a pretty robust area of rain ahead of the Arctic front. You can clearly see where that Arctic front is. where it is right here, and it's not where the rain-snow line is because when the Arctic front moves through, the temperatures crash in this space between here and here, right? This space in between will be where the temperatures are crashing, and then you have snow on the back end. And this NAM is quite aggressive, showing this snow on the back end getting all the way through most of the area going into the overnight hours on Sunday. And again, you got heavy rain, squall line over eastern Pennsylvania. This is actually at 1 o'clock in the morning, Sunday night, actually technically Monday morning, right? And it's going to continue to march to the coast. And there's 4 a.m., and you see a changeover to snow that's very aggressive. I don't think it's going to end up being that aggressive with the snow changeover. But then when we get to the next frame, it actually has, it changing over and as the precipitation's ending. So we'll see. We'll continue to follow this over the next couple of days. I wouldn't really get hung up on the snow idea just yet. It's really the big story is going to be the rain and a significant amount of rain. We're looking at easily 1.5 to 2 inches, maybe some locally higher amounts of that to 2.5 inches in some areas. So I think you're generally in that range. I would say probably, you're solidly 1.5 to 2. And then some locally higher amounts than that, okay? And some of these places might get locally higher than 2. But for the most part, we're 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain, which is definitely a soaker. And it's going to come in a very relatively short amount of time, about 12 hours, okay? You have some shower activity during the day on Sunday, intermittent, right? And then you have the bulk of it coming in during the evening and overnight during that 12-hour period going into early Monday morning. So you can certainly see 1.5 to 2 inches of rain in that entire stretch, and that's a relatively short amount of time. As far as snowfall, it is favoring the interior areas and areas of elevation. I know it has this stuff in here, but I'm not really sold on that idea right there. But these areas that is falling, these are all the elevation areas up here. Okay, north of that line, that's areas of elevation. That makes sense that you would have those areas changing over faster before the precipitation ends, and the usual suspects across like Sullivan County, Susquehanna County get some of these bullseyes. Tioga, eastern Tioga, western Bradford County. These are areas that typically do better, in these kind of setups when these anafrontal precipitation where you have a changeover to snow at the tail end. That usually favors the elevation areas to begin with. So some of these areas out here that are higher elevations, including in parts of northeast PA, in Lackawanna, Luzerne County. Not all areas are, above 1,500 feet in those counties. So the ones that are favor those areas of accumulation. Same thing in parts of Schuylkill, Northumberland. There's a lot of areas that are higher elevation that could get into that at the end. So we're going to fine tune this when we get a little bit closer to it. Of course, I'll have one more video for the weekend to discuss this further and give you some finely tuned details at that point. The other part of this is the wind. Now, we have some wind gusts on Sunday. It doesn't look like it's going to be as bad because it's going to be a flatter, more progressive wave, but you could have some wind gusts here in the 25 to 30, isolated 35 category Sunday afternoon. So most areas 25 to 30 peak gusts, but there could be some or common gusts, and you could have some peak gusts here getting to 35 in a few spots on Sunday afternoon. And then once we get into the overnight, when that squall line moves through, you have some gusts here closer to the coast that you get above 40, so 40 to 45 as that approaches the coast. I think the worst wind, though, is actually going to be in the wake of this, and that's going to be on Monday morning. This is cold air advection-related wind following the front. As a trough comes in, you'll have some wind gusts that are solidly 25 to 35 with 40 miles per hour if possible in elevations, and that's going to be on Monday morning. I think it's going to be a worst windy period of this entire event for the interior. Of course, the shore points, so you get some gusts well into the 40s here when that squall line moves through overnight. So we're going to watch that squall line because I really don't have anything more definitive than a 3-hour loop here. But it does show that squall line moving through. It's a convective-like squall line. It is not a severe thunderstorm line, although I can't roll out lightning with it. But I don't think it's a severe weather thing necessarily, but it could be some gusty winds involved with that as it moves through, which is another finely tuned detail we'll go through on the weekend video forecast. Then after this, again, deep trough settles in for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The trough is still here. We are dry through that entire period. Leftover early shower Monday, and then becoming partly cloudy, mostly sunny Tuesday, and then partly cloudy both Wednesday and Thursday. But all those days, temperatures are looking like they're going to be at least slightly below average for that entire stretch. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Marchus. That is your outlook for December 8th, 2023. Have a great Friday.